Hi everyone, today I have a nice beginner yoga practice for you. Join me today as I guide you through some foundational yoga poses. These poses will help you to open your chest, strengthen your arms, your back, your core, and really give you a full body physical as well as mental reset. For today's practice, if you do have a yoga block or similarly sized, shaped prop, that may be helpful, but definitely not necessary. So let's hit the mat and get started. We're going to begin today's practice in a nice wide child's pose. So come on down to your mat, bring your toes to touch, knees come out wide as your mat, and just begin to sink your hips back, walk your hands forward. If you have a block and you want to rest your forehead on that, that's an option, or if you want to bring your forehead down to the mat, if that's available to you, go ahead and do that. And we'll just begin in this restful posture, beginning to focus on our practice, on our breathing, taking some time for ourselves and our bodies and our minds. And just notice the inhale and the exhales. Begin to tune into how your body feels today. Do you have any tight spots, any sore spots? And just take this time to notice where you are today. No judgment, just notice. You can rock your head side to side, kind of giving your forehead a little massage, which can feel nice. If you have any tension or sinus issues, that can feel quite refreshing. Okay, on your next inhale, walk your hands over to the left side of your mat, remaining kind of in this child's pose variation. And feel a gentle side body stretch, kind of starting all the way from that right hip, moving up through the torso, stretching through the arm and through the fingertips. One more inhale. And on your exhale, walk your hands over to the right side. Again, settle into this child's pose stretch. Starting that stretch, feeling that at your left hip, all the way through your left arm. And on your next exhale, release back to center. Make your way to a tabletop position. Your knees will be stacked directly below your hips, your wrists directly below your shoulders here. So maintain that alignment. Flip your feet so that the tops of your feet are flat on your mat, toes pointing straight back. Make sure they're not kind of pigeon-toed inward, but trying to maintain as pointing straight back towards the back of your mat. Really spread your fingertips and press into those palms. You can radiate your biceps, kind of rotating forward. Feel that rotation in your shoulders. And keep a nice neutral spine and neck. On an inhale, we can drop your belly, bring your gaze up, chest opens. Coming into this cow pose. Really feel the skin of your belly stretch as your tailbone reaches up to the sky. Chest opens gently here. And on your next exhale, start moving into the cat position, kind of starting at the tailbone, pushing up, doming and rounding your spine, pushing up between the shoulder blades, and letting the head become heavy and drop towards the mat. We'll do a few cycles of cat and cow, moving on your breath. So you'll inhale to cow, drop your belly, open the chest, tailbone reaches up. And exhale, round the spine, coming into cat. Please add a little movement here, whatever feels good. If a little bit of rocking back and forth, kind of make this your own. Sometimes doing little circles or forward and back. Just kind of feeling out your body a little bit today. Or just stick with the cat and cow movement on your breath. Really empty out on your cat and fill up on the cow. One more cycle. Empty, empty, empty. And release to tabletop. We'll begin to walk our hands forward, coming into a puppy posture. So drop your forearms to the mat. Your tailbone will stay kind of up in the sky here, kind of like a little puppy does when they're playing. Forearms to the mat, palms open to the mat as well, elbows planted kind of directly below your shoulders here. And this, think about a downward facing dog alignment. So kind of lifting and pulling back, so your ears are between your biceps, similar to how they are in a downward facing dog. This can be tricky. It's a real, it can really help to open kind of through the armpits, through to the front of the shoulders. If you'd like to, place a block under your forehead. That can help you kind of maintain this posture. Or if it is available to you, you can bring your forehead down to the mat. Just feel that gentle opening through the shoulders. All right, we'll release our puppy. Setting up for our first downward facing dog. So plant your palms flat on the mat here. Really, again, spread those fingers, press into the entire hand, curl your toes under, and lift your hips up high, and then push back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees as much as you need to here. We're just warming this up so you can pedal out your feet. Don't worry about getting your heels down to the mat. Again, bend as much as you need to, kind of waking up the hamstrings here a little bit. Your ears should be between your biceps. And if you're feeling pressure in the wrist, really press into those fingerprints and really kind of grip your yoga mat. Take a couple cycles of breath here in stillness. And we'll make our way to the top of our mat. When I'm warming up, I like to do a little kind of crossover walk. Nice, slow, stepping up to the top of our mat. Keep your feet hips width distance. We'll come into a ragdoll pose. So bend your knees as we kind of release the low back. Clasp your opposite hand with opposite elbow. You can add a little rock back and forth if that feels good. Make sure you release the weight of the head. Just let everything hang. And release that and slowly roll on up to standing. Slowly stack up those vertebrae. Let your arms and head remain heavy until the end. Loop your shoulders forward, up, and back, coming into a nice mountain pose. Let's do that again since we're just kind of warming up those shoulders. Loop them forward, up to the ears, back, and down. Palms face forward, hands by your side. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. On an inhale, we'll sweep our arms up and overhead. Exhale as we float our fingers down to the mat, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, coming into this flat back position. So we're kind of, again, hinging at the hips. We want a straight line from the tail to the crown of the head. You can bring your hands to your thighs. Have these little grasshopper arms will help you to maintain the proper alignment there. Take a couple breaths here and feel this flat back position. And then we'll exhale, step left foot back to a lunge. Sink into that, keep the right knee stacked above the right ankle, open the chest forward. Step your right foot coming into a plank. You can rock forward and back on the balls of your feet and settle into the plank, spiking your feet towards, or your heels towards the back of the mat, really extending the crown of the head, belly button sucks into the spine, and you're really kind of rounding up between your shoulder blades. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and release down to our bellies. And then we'll inhale, coming into a cobra. So tops of your feet are flat on the mat. Inhale, lift the chest, pull the elbows back. Feel your low back working here. Hip points pressing into the mat. And release. Curl your toes under and push on up to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale, step your right foot up, coming into this lunge again. Open the chest forward, come on up to your fingertips. Spike your left heel towards the back edge of your mat. And step your left foot up to meet the right, coming into a nice forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Reach, reach, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Breath in. And breath out. We'll go through that again. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Reach, gaze can come up to the sky. Exhale, folding deeply as your hands float to the mat. Inhale to this halfway lift. Hands come to the thighs. Grasshopper arms, keep that long line between the tail and the crown. And exhale, plant your palms and step your right foot back, coming into a lunge. Come on up to your fingertips. Open, feel that opening through the chest. Gaze comes forward. Spike that right heel back. And exhale, step back to plank. Rock a little front to back and working those toes, balls of your feet. Maintaining that good plank posture. We'll hold for 3, 2, 1, and come on down to the belly. Flip the feet flat on the mat. Inhale, lift up to cobra. Elbows pulling back, chest opens, low back activates. And exhale, release. Inhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. A nice cycle of breath here. Inhale, left leg comes up between your hands, coming into our lunge. Again, stack that left knee over the left ankle. Open the chest, come on up to your fingertips here. And exhale, step it forward, bringing the right foot up to meet the left, coming into a forward fold. And then inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Reach, look up to the sky. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. And exhale, hands to heart center. Excellent work. Now we're going to move into a chair pose. So let's bring our feet together, nice and tight together. Really you want to press your thighs, your quads together here. Begin standing nice and tall. You can put your hands on your hip points here. So I really want you to feel the hinge in your hips. That's where our movement is going to start for this chair pose. So you can place your hands on your hips here, and then we'll start to sit back, pushing our tailbone back, weight shifts into our heels here. Oop, and your arms can come forward as a counterbalance. Sometimes in chair pose, I know we're up a little bit more in different variations. I can kind of crank on the shoulders a little bit. And this also, sometimes I like this variation as the hands forward act as a nice counterbalance and really allows you to sink your hips back. So really sink those back. Be mindful that your knees are not crossing in front of your toes. Press your thighs together. Really, really press it. Pull the belly button into the spine. Stay nice and long. Just another breath. And release, coming into a forward fold. Nice work. All right, plant your palms on the mat. Step one foot back, then the other, coming into plank. Again, we'll do our nice little rock back and forth. Just activating, getting some mobility into our toes here. And we'll slowly come on down to our bellies, setting up for Sphinx pose. So let those tops of the feet, place those on the mat again. We'll replace kind of right where our palms were, replace with our elbows. So our elbows are now stacked below our shoulders. Forearms flat on the mat, palms flat down on the mat as well. So in this Sphinx pose, our gaze comes forward. Open the chest, really press into the hip points and the pubic bone. Kind of lift up through the belly. Pull that belly button into your spine. And feel that lift there. This is a great posture to help strengthen your lower back. We'll take a couple cycles of breath here. Keep that chest open, gaze forward. Excellent, release. Release the hands. Let's come back to our downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath here. And let it all go. All right, inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, plant that forward between your palms. Come on up to your fingertips here and move into a high lunge. You can either sweep your arms forward, up and back, coming into the lunge, or if you're not quite ready for that, go ahead, lift up, placing your hands on that right thigh. And you can stay here, or if you'd like to, sweep your arms up and back. Give a little bend when you're setting this up in that back leg, and that will really help you to make sure that you're in alignment with the tail, hips, and your head. Keep that nice bend in the front knee. Don't let the front knee go too far over that front ankle at all. Inhale and exhale. Release down to the mat, stepping back to downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left foot between your hands. Set up for the high lunge. Come to your fingertips here. Spike that right heel really back towards the mat. And lift on up. Placing your hands on your left thigh. Being mindful that your left knee is stacked above that ankle, not dropping inward at all towards the center of your mat. Keeping that kind of directly straight over your toes. If it's available, sweep your arms up and overhead. Pinkies can kind of twirl inward here. Tuck that, make sure your tailbone is kind of tucked. Pull that belly button in. Make sure those ears are, or the shoulders are out of your ears. A lot to remember. And release down to the mat, stepping back to your downward facing dog. Nice work. Take a couple cycles of breath here. On your next inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, plant that between your palms. Inhale, sweep on up to that high lunge. We've been here before. And on an exhale, open up to warrior two. So we'll pivot on that back foot, kind of creating a 45-degree angle with that back foot, turning to the left, but our gaze remains over our right foot here, towards the top of the mat. So our hands are pulling out, really stretching and reaching. You're very, very active in this. Keep that bend in that knee. We'll reverse our warrior. Flip the right palm, lift that up and back, and let that left hand graze and follow your back leg here. Reaching up and over, feeling a nice stretch in the right side body here. Keep that bend in the knee. You're doing great. Exhale, we'll return to warrior two and go ahead and straighten. Whew, sweet relief. You did it, good job. We'll set up for triangle, Trikonasana on this side. So keeping our arms out to the sides like this, we'll hinge our hips, bump our hips back. That'll bring us forward. So you're really reaching forward with that right hand and then coming down. That your right hand could land potentially on your foot, your ankle, your shin. If you have a block, that can be helpful in this posture as well. And once you're in this twist and you feel supported, you can keep your hand on your low back, or you can trace your chest and bring your left hand up to the sky. You don't want to collapse into that right side. Keep that length. Really work to spiral your chest towards the sky. One more inhale. And exhale, return to warrior two. Inhale and exhale, cartwheel your hands, taking up space, coming all the way back to this lunge. Plant the left hand, trace the chest with the right hand, and reach up to the sky, coming into a twist. And twisting from the torso here. Nice twist for your thoracic spine. And on your exhale, bring your hand down to the mat. Step back, coming into downward facing dog. Take an inhale. And an exhale. Then on your next inhale, lift your left foot. Exhale, plant that between your palms. Set up for a high lunge. Inhale, sweep your arms up and back. And exhale, open up to your warrior two. Again, keep that nice bend in your front leg. Your front knee should be pointed directly over your toes. Don't let that collapse in. So keep that stable there. You've pivoted on your back foot, so your back foot's at a 45-degree angle. You're pulling your pinkies back, really engaging your shoulder blades here. And pulling out through your fingertips. On an inhale, flip the front palm, reach your left arm up and back, reversing our warrior. Keep that bend in the knee, stick with it. And exhale, return to warrior two, and then go ahead and straighten that leg. We'll set up for triangle on this side. So again, we're going to bump our hips back, which will allow us to reach forward with our left hand here. Reach as far as you can. When you've reached that edge, then you can bring that down to your foot, your shin, your ankle, a block, wherever is comfortable for you today. Make sure you're twisting, spiraling your chest up to the sky. Your right hand can stay on your low back here. Otherwise, trace your chest and bring that right hand up, reaching up to the sky. Again, we're not collapsing into this left side. We're not supporting ourselves with the arm. The support really comes from your core here. So tighten that up. That's where we're supporting ourselves here in this triangle pose. Inhale. Exhale, return to warrior two. Excellent. We'll cartwheel our hands, kind of come up and over, stepping back to our lunge. Plant that right hand. Trace the chest with your left, coming into this nice twist. And breathe into the twist. On your next exhale, go ahead and release. And we'll step that back to downward facing dog. Great work. Keep pulling your hips up to the sky. Deep breath in and exhale, let it all out. All right, let's make our way down to the mat. Drop your knees, coming down to back to the tabletop type position. We'll cross our ankles behind us and roll on back, coming to a seated position. Come to staff pose. So our legs are out straight in front of us with our feet hips distance. You're not pushing them together. They're just kind of equal to your hips. Sitting up nice and tall, feeling that connection with your sitting bones and the mat. You can flex your toes kind of towards your face, really engage your legs here. Sweep our arms up and overhead. Feel that length. Inhale and exhale, hinge at those hips and reach forward. And then when you've reached your edge, go ahead and drop your hands and your head. Your hands may come to your feet, they may come to your shins. Wherever is comfortable for you today, that's where I want you to be. And just take a few breaths here, kind of releasing the neck, releasing the low back. Gentle stretch of the hamstrings. You can bend the knees as much as you need to here as well. All right, we'll release. Just roll back up to our nice tall seat here. We'll bring our right foot, bend our right leg, planting the sole of our right foot on the mat here. So we're sitting up nice and tall with our knee bent. Our left toes are still flexed towards our face. We're going to do a nice twist to the right side here. So find some length, extend that left hand up to the sky. Again, find that length, and then we're twisting to the right. So we're going to take our left elbow to the outside of our right knee here, or right thigh, and then swim our right hand back behind us. Entering this twist, just breathe. Again, don't force anything. Gaze can come over your right shoulder, if that's available. With your exhales, see if you can just deepen the twist just a little bit more, find a little bit more space. And on your next exhale, go ahead and release. We'll repeat on the other side. So bring that left foot in, plant that on the mat there. Sit up nice and tall, reach up with your right hand. Inhale. As we exhale, we're bringing that right elbow kind of across and over to the outside of your leg here, and swim the left hand back behind you, coming into this twist. Again, continue to sit up nice and tall here, find that length. Breathe into the twist, see if you're able to deepen it just a hair. And find some new space that you didn't have before. And release. Now we'll make our way down to the back. Roll yourself down here. Extend the legs out long. Bring your right knee into your chest. Kind of move that around just a little bit if that feels good. And release that out long. Bring your left leg in, do the same thing. Give it a little movement here. And then you can bring your right leg in to meet the left. And just do a little rocking back and forth here. Massage that low back. Keep that low back on the mat. Don't let that lift up. This sets us up nicely for one of my favorite poses, Happy Baby. So you can reach for your feet or your shins, whatever's available to you. We'll bring, kind of pushing our feet into our hands, bringing our knees into our armpits. And we can find a gentle rock here. It's really good on the low back. And keep that sacrum and that tailbone on the mat. Find that nice movement and go ahead and release. Let's release out long. Find a nice full body stretch here. So arms come up and overhead, toes point and reach. Just give a nice full body stretch before we enter our final pose, Shavasana. Bring your feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Let your toes kind of fall out to the side here. Arms can rest down by your sides with your palms facing the sky. Snuggle your shoulder blades together a little bit more. Kind of open up that chest and that heart space a bit. Let our bodies kind of absorb our practice as we take a few moments to rest. Let your body really sink into the mat. Let your heels become heavy, your calves, the back of your knees. kind of melt into your mat. Your hamstrings, your glutes, your hips. Just let everything release. Your low back, the back of your ribs, your shoulder blades. Release any clenching or tension. Just let that become heavy. The backs of your hands, forearms, the elbows, upper arms, all becoming heavy and melting into the ground, into your yoga mat. Your upper back, back of your head. Everything fully supported by the earth. Make sure your eyes are closed if you haven't closed them already. Be mindful of any tension that you're carrying in your face. Release the forehead, the eyes. Release the jaw, the tongue. Just let everything become heavy and fully supported. I welcome you to stay in this resting posture for as long as time allows. Otherwise, I thank you for your presence and your energy today. Thank you for sharing that with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.